Hey everybody, we are here at Helen Keller's birthplace. It is a house called Ivy Green, I believe, and it was built in 1820, just before Alabama became the 22nd state.
Yeah. Double deuces.
So we're gonna find out a little bit more about Ivy Green, so come along with us.
Let's go. Talon's excited.
I think this right here is probably one of the most iconic scenes from the movie Miracle Worker, and also what most people think of when they think of Helen Keller and how she learned to be able to make it in this world with the disabilities that she had. And so this is the water fountain where she was taught.
There's butterflies in my palms and in my eyes, echoes from the other night, gossip about our lives.
Now, the really cool thing about this, well, at least for me and probably Kira, is this was made by the Maori people. I hope I say the name right. New Zealand, indigenous people to New Zealand. And if you watch the Netflix show, The Casketeers, I'm almost positive that the people, the main people on that show are Maori, or at least I know they do a lot of funerals because there's a lot more Maori people in the area. So we've seen a lot of their culture through the show The Casketeers on Netflix. So that's pretty cool.
We're all ready to go inside. Got our masks on.
Glad you pointed that out. They would have never noticed.
I don't know. We're all checked in. We're all checked in. We are in the museum inside Helen Keller's birthplace home, and we're waiting for another group to get checked in so we can get our tour, but we're going to be able to look around the museum while we wait. And
we're not trying to interrupt the place, but
no. But masks are required here, but it is open, and so we're very excited to look around and see what we can learn from Helen Keller's birthplace.
Yeah, so check this stuff out.
Could hear my father's voice, he would tell me to move on. He would say I'll be just fine. Yeah, he would tell me we have time to laugh and time to heal. Our favorite song is on repeat, drinking wine until the dawn, knowing soon we'll be back home.
When you go to the Cottage, it's 2 doors to Fulton, Ohio, at their international conference. Now, you're going to see a video of that speech, but that's not Helen to reenact. But she encouraged them then to become Knights of the Blind, which they're continuing to do today. It was built in 1820 by Helen Keller's grandparents. This was her father's mother and daddy that had moved here from Virginia. Now, what brought them here was the railroad. Her grandfather was part of building the railroad. It was 640 acres they purchased. A lot of English ivy, 10 acres, but you know what? That ivy still grows all over the place. If you'll see it outside, occasionally we even have it growing up through these 200-year-old pine floors. Now, Helen's father, there's going to be some pictures on the front when you, in the front on the wall, but Helen's father's in that top left corner. He wore several hats. Arthur Keller was an attorney in downtown Tuscumbia. He also had a newspaper, the weekly newspaper in Tuscumbia. There's a copy of it there. And then he oversaw the farming of the 640 acres. Now, he married a lady named Kate Adams from Memphis, Tennessee. This was his second marriage, though. By the way, she was a descendant of John and John Quincy Adams, our second and sixth president. But when the two of them were going to marry, there were other family members already sleeping here in the main house. Captain Keller's sister lived here. Her name was Eveline, and she never married. In fact, this was her bedroom that we use as a museum. And then his 2 sons lived here from a previous marriage. His first wife had passed away. The boys, James and Simpson, were ages 6 and 13, and their bedrooms are upstairs. So it was crowded with family, which is why Captain Keller decided to fix up that little cottage right next door. The cottage had previously been used as an office for the plantation. He made it into a bridal suite. That's where they slept, and Helen was born in the cottage. She was born with normal vision and hearing on June the 27th of 1880. However, at the age of 19 months, she had a high fever. When that fever broke several days later, it left Helen totally deaf and totally blind. Now, the doctors back then called it a brain-type fever. More modern doctors believe that Helen either had meningitis or scarlet fever. So for the next several years, the family really didn't know what to do with Helen. She ate with her hands, they cleaned her up. A few minutes later, she was torn and dirty again. When Helen was 6 years old, her sister Mildred was born, and she dumped the baby out of the cradle. Fortunately, it didn't hurt this baby, but that was a wake-up call for the family. They were very concerned of what in the world would become of Helen. Before Helen reached the age of 7, the family heard about Alexander Graham Bell. Now, you all may know that he invented the telephone. He was also a teacher of the deaf, in fact married to a lady who was deaf. So they took Helen by train to Washington, D.C. to meet with him. He spent just a few minutes with Helen and then told the family she did not need a doctor, but a teacher, and encouraged them to write to this Perkins School for the Blind, which was located near Boston, Massachusetts.
So here's the kitchen. Summer kitchens, winter kitchens. Cook would live attached to the kitchen area. So, very cool. I love that 80% of this is all original.
Well, this is the actual fountain. Well, water pump, really. It's where it all started for Helen.
Yep. It's where it clicked.
It's where the world opened up for her, really.
Right.
This is pretty humbling, awesome.
Yeah, she learned how to spell water, and that the water that was cascading on her face was the actual word that was being spelled into her hand by Annie. That's a really cool thought process, that if you couldn't see or hear, that you could reach that connection that she did.
Yep, that's cool. Let's go see where she was born. After a quick battery change, we'll try this for the 3rd time. We are where?
At the cottage, right outside the main home.
Also known as the Bridal Cottage. Not Bridal College, it would be kind of weird.
Well, when Mr. Keller brought his second bride home, this was the Bridal Cottage, yes.
And it's right next to the main house. And
Which a lot of family lived in.
Yeah, and that's why they built this, because he still had kids from his first marriage, and his first wife had passed away. So it was kids and sister too, I think, all lived in the main house. So to have a little bit of what they call privacy, he built a house. So that's some serious privacy right there.
But this was where Helen Keller was born.
Right,
And
literally.
where she kind of went to school, and they wanted to get her. Anne knew that she needed to get her away from the family, so she asked to move out here. They gave her 2 weeks, and they rearranged the furniture so that Helen wouldn't know where she was going. And then they drove her around the property a whole bunch, and then brought her here to the house, to the cottage. And that's also at the end of those 2 weeks where she had her breakthrough, being able to relate water to the spelling of water.
And by driving around the property, what they really meant was in the horse and buggy, cruised around a few laps, which is kind of cruel. You think about it, for they're kind of toying with a blind person, making them think they're going somewhere and they didn't go anywhere. But you know what? They had to do what they had to do, and it worked out in the end for her and for actually a lot of people. I mean, from the groundbreaking work that happened to get Helen to even be able to communicate has helped thousands of people.
Right.
So
you know what I think is really cool?
that breeze.
That breeze feels really good. But I think it's really neat that it's 200 years this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was built in 1820, and it's 2020. I mean, that's crazy.
The second house built in the whole town.
Yep. So it's really neat to come out here if you haven't had an opportunity to come to Tuscumbia. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce it. Tuscumbia, Alabama. Then you need to do that and check out Helen Keller's birthplace, because it's a pretty cool and neat place to roam around.
There's also the Alabama Music Hall of Fame nearby, which maybe we'll see, maybe we won't. Who knows? It may not be closed.
There's another museum downtown too.
Most importantly, we need an expert opinion on this from the expert. What do you think, Talon?
The porch gets a 10. That's a cool spot to lay.
The porch and the breeze, solid 10. Solid 10.
I just need like a porch swing on here. That's a nice porch.
Yeah, it is.
Hello.
This was fun and educational.
I'm better if I just stand behind you about 10 feet. If anybody's noticed in our videos, I tend to have to either stand up really tall on my tiptoes, or Michael has to shrink. But
Or we can do one of these.
we're doing this. Hello, everybody.
What's up? What's up?
I really, really, really enjoyed coming here today. I mean, there was so much history and facts and just so much to learn.
Just the facts,
and
man.
I remember reading about Helen Keller and learning about her when I was young, and so it was fascinating then, it's fascinating now, and this, I'm geeking out again. Elvis's birthplace, and then this, I mean, Helen Keller's birthplace, geeking out. That's what I'm pulling the dust in my eyes there.
Just wait until we go to the Coondog Museum. I'm sorry, the Coondog Cemetery.
I don't know that I'll be geeking out there, but it'll be interesting. I like to learn.
All right, so scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, this is definitely up there, a 10 to come. The women in here were really knowledgeable. They gave you a good history lesson. They gave you these really cool sheets of like question and answers, and welcome, and a little bit about the area, and of course got my postcards. And so yeah, it was a really cool place.
Yeah. So if you're ever in northern Alabama, come check this place out.
Come check it out.
If you're anywhere in Alabama, come check this place out. All right.
We'll see you at the next adventure.
Yep, we will. Bye.
Okay, so we're here in our super secret location with our super secret friends.
Yeah, super top secret.
You cannot tell anyone that you're here with these people.
No.
Well, actually, by the time we post this video,
Well, of course, he worked for the government, so
I mean,
the entire United States. will
Everybody's
know.
gonna know.
this probably
but
happened 3 weeks ago by the time you actually see
Yep.
this video. So.
But we get to see some really, really, really cool stuff. Like,
Yeah, bring the rock star in here.
she does exist, people. She really does exist, and she's just as nice in person. Okay, so this is why we're really here, because we get to see Kyle and Ryan's new camper.
Very first ever.
Ever.
Very first ever camper.
Ever.
Just got it locked up like Fort Knox.
Well, you're in the Walmart parking lot. You need to.
That's true. I'll give you that one.
Check out their logo.
I know that is a very, very, very cool logo.
It has a story.
You can tell that both of us put it on there first.
I think they did.